That's good. Win for some. Doesn't always start with something. The fire department on?
Hello, Camila.
Hi.
I just wanted to check to make sure you could hear the mics online.
Yes, thank you so much, Patrick.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, perfect. Bye.
At 7 o'clock, we'll call to order Kalihi Pālama Neighborhood Board. We're going to start with the fire department. Hello. You can have a seat right there. Welcome.
All right, statistics today. We had fires. We had 7 structure fires, 4 nuisance fires, 2 cooking fires, and 17 activated alarms. We had 174 medical emergencies, 11 motor vehicle crashing collisions, and 2 hazardous material incidents. And then our fire safety tip is prepare for power outages. Make sure your batteries, you have batteries for all your flashlights. Prepare your family. If you need medications, make sure you have them. If things need power, make sure you have a backup solution. Prepare food and water. Set your fridge and freezer for the coldest settings. Keep them closed as much as possible. Protect your electronics. Unplug unnecessary electronics. Prevent surges. Never touch down power lines. Always assume they're energized and dangerous. And for more safety tips, visit honolulu.gov/DEM. Know more about your power outages at hawaiianelectric.com/storm center. Is there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the community or online? No? First of all, thank you so much, Captain, and for the fire department for all your sacrifices and all of your hard work. So thank you so much. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. I'm going to continue on with the Honolulu Police Department, District 1. Are they online? Okay. Continuing on with Police Department, District 5.
Good evening, Lieutenant Yamashita here from District 5. I also have District our Administrative and Community Policing Team Sergeant Jose Martinez with us tonight. We're going to go over the statistics for the month of January. So we have 8 aggravated assaults, 24 auto thefts, 21 burglaries, 7 robberies, 4 sex assaults, 13 simple assaults, 43 thefts, and 18 unauthorized entry to motor vehicles. Total calls for service for the month of January were 3,142. We're going to touch up on a couple of the cases. I know there were 7 robberies reported for the month of January, but several of them occurred outside of your guys' district. One of the robberies I do want to talk about is these juveniles were playing basketball at Kalihi District Park. They placed their backpack on the ground. A suspect approached them, asked them if they had any money inside of the backpacks. They told them no. The suspect thought they were lying. 4 more suspects approached and started digging through their bags. When the complainants told them to stop, one of the suspects lifted up his shirt and brandished a firearm, which was in his waistband area. Our officers, along with our crime reduction unit, made checks of the area, located possible suspects, conducted a field show-up, also located a firearm, and they were positively identified. 2 of the males were placed under arrest. The complainants were also able to identify the firearm. There's a sex assault. One was at Mayor Wright's, the bus stop fronting Mayor Wright's. There's a male that was over there masturbating. We had a field show-up that was conducted. He was located, positively identified. He was also placed under arrest for sex assault in the 4th degree. And lastly, there was another sex assault. A male with health issues was completely nude, walking around. Officers located him, called for an ambulance, took him to Queens Emergency for a mental health evaluation. I know we also brought up a couple things last month about the intersection of Mokuahine and Hala Drive. So our officers have been stepping up visibility enforcement over there to monitor pedestrian traffic along with vehicular traffic. Our community policing team is also trying to coordinate a sign waving event over there. Also, we have the bus stops bus stops and sidewalk area near Liliha and Vineyard. You guys talked about drug activity. We had our officers make checks daily, and we haven't been able to locate any yet at this time. And lastly, we talked about the parking situation on Kalihi Street specifically between Democrat and Home Rule. So for the month of January, our officers made checks over there and they issued out over 20 citations in the area. Lastly, we have a Coffee with a Cop event coming up on Friday, February 28th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Y Camilo McDonald's. Community is encouraged to come out and share a cup of coffee with the police and talk story. I'll turn it over to see if Sergeant Martinez has anything for you folks at this time. Sarge?
Just want to say, if you guys can make it out to Coffee with a Cop, that's good. It's a good time to sit down and talk with officers, especially our community policing team, because we handle a lot of the ongoing kind of complaints like parking, homeless, stuff like that. So it's a good opportunity to kind of talk to us and tell us your thoughts and what it is you guys have concerns on.
Can you repeat the date, time, and location, Sergeant?
It's going to be at the Y Camilo McDonald's on the 28th from 9 to 11. Yeah, we'll be there from 9 to 11.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll pass on the information. Anything else that you want to mention, Sergeant? Oh, can't hear.
You guys
You're
have-
on mute.
If you guys have any questions, I can answer them, but the lieutenant does a good job giving you guys what's going on currently. We handle a lot of the community type calls, programs, stuff like that, and some of the more ongoing complaints. Our office handles that.
Okay, cool. So good thing we're talking then. For the area of 215 North King Street, which is on the outskirts, Evile, where IHS is in that area, senior care home and 215 North King Street building most likely will need some kind of like organization, and I can help with that too for a neighborhood watch. There has been elevated selling drugs at Ala Park, indiscriminately. People and the residents in that area even notice it, and they're willing to make a statement, although they get bullied into not sticking around. So I just wanted to share that with you, that 215 North King Street, that building, Ala Park area, is kind of like a lot of drug activity. So I just wanted to report that to you.
Yeah, we actually did receive I believe it was an online complaint for that area, and we have some officers already looking into it. We're working with the city for that area where there's a couple of areas where the fence has been cut out.
Yeah.
And they're kind of accessing that area. So we're working on that. And just coincidentally, tomorrow I'm going to be at the senior residence in Evile, that 888 Evile Road.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be giving them a talk about, it's their Kapuna coffee hour. So they invited us to come and talk to them. So we're going to give them tips on how to be safe. They're asking for like pedestrian safety, asking stuff for homeless awareness, and we'll also talk to them about like financial fraud, just some of the more common crimes that our Kapuna are victims of. So
Yes,
we're going to be there tomorrow from like 1 to 2.
1 to 2. Okay, perfect. Also at Camp Shopping Center and a couple of other shopping centers, there has been reports of, some people trying to sell kapunas or swindle them into jewelry, like do the switcheroo. So it was brought to my attention too, so I'm bringing it to your attention. I don't know if these individuals have been caught, but it was in a white sedan. And they've been doing that at Camp Shopping Center ever so often, and they're targeting kapunas. So maybe you wanna tell the kapunas in 888 or 215 or in that area, that kind of activity is starting to become really prevalent.
Yeah, that's an ongoing thing, and it happens all over the island. They tend to choose like different locations, but when it does come out, I know like public service announcements do happen to come out for that too.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I have for you for now.
Okay.
But thank you
You-
so much for all that you gentlemen do. Evelyn, I think you have a question.
Hi, Evelyn Cullen. I have a question actually for both of you. So I'll start with you, Martinez. So I'm not a coffee drinker, so is there any possibility to have one like at 3:30 for those of us who are at work during the daytime, and maybe 3:30 to maybe 5, and possibly in my area below Nimitz? I'm on the same block as Shopol, and that's a high crime area in and of itself. Democrat Street, couple blocks away, recent gambling house taken down. So if you could maybe include people like myself and within our area. And then, so you can get back to me on that one.
The hard part that we have with that, the reason we do it in the morning is the venue, right? The location. So we partner with McDonald's or Starbucks, and they're the ones that give us the venue. We're more than happy to have something later in the evening, but I think if you're willing to help us coordinate a location, that would be
Can,
more central to where you guys want to do it. The best thing you do, you can email me. You can email me and we can talk about it. It's just jmartinez@honolulu.gov. And we can definitely set something up in the later evenings if that works for you. If we get enough people to come out in a venue that we can do it at. If we can't find a venue, we can always ask McDonald's again. But the coffee with the cop is kind of like a national thing. So that's why we kind of do it that way. But we can most definitely start our own. We can have something like, Manapua's with the cop or something.
sounds good.
I'm there.
I'm there. Okay. I like what you think.
For
Okay.
cash, yeah.
Okay, so now for Lieutenant Yamashita. So the
Yes.
increase in call, like you said, over 3,000, and the crime going up, and the futuristic outlook on our area, the gentrification as well as the redevelopment of HPHA. How do you guys plan for this incoming influx of crimes? Like whatever we have currently, it's going to be, I don't know, times 10. So that would be what, I don't know, maybe 30,000 calls a month? Are you guys even looking towards what's to come? I guess that's what I'm looking for. Because our area, like the Ka'ahumanu and Kamehameha housing, they're looking to redevelop that entire area. From 1,500 current residents, they're gonna look at it becoming 5,000. We don't have enough police officers, we don't have enough schools, the schools are dated. The infrastructure is poor, hospital as well. So how is HPD preparing for something like this, or just to put it on your plate now, to think about what's to come? That's all.
Well, our recruiting team is still working very hard, and they're recruiting officers daily. They're trying to get the numbers up. I mean, we're gonna probably have to face it as it comes. I can reallocate officers. Like when you guys bring up concerns in certain areas, I reassign resources to that areas, and I work with the community policing team to make sure that we tackle these obstacles as you guys bring them up, so it doesn't become a larger scale. So that's how we try and maintain it and keep it down. Our recruiting team is, like I said, working tirelessly and trying to recruit officers as much as possible. If you guys have any friends, families, or anybody that you guys can recommend, we are continuously hiring.
And also I'd like to say thank you for the Democrat and Home Rule. That was me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Ken?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you. The calls that you're getting, are they in the same area and beats for what you normally get, or are they in having it more frequent in other areas and in other, beats within the different district sectors?
So the calls vary. Like I said, this area of responsibility for your guys' particular district, we have a total of 8 or 9 beats. That's why the calls volume seems so high. Rather, like in other boards, they only have maybe 3, 4, 2,
The
3,
question
4,
is,
5 beats.
is the beats that are currently, is it happening in other beats within the sector? Is it just the same areas but more frequent?
He's asking about saturation.
You're asking to see if the calls are continuously in the same areas, you saying?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it varies like every time, like we always get calls to the certain areas continuously. Like people call about the homeless people in the Evile area, so we get calls in that area a lot. So the volume of calls do go over there, and then it all depends on the day, right? I mean, we can never predict what type of crime is going to occur each day, so it gets spread out throughout your guys' area.
I think to kind of touch on that though, there is some beats that get more calls, like the lieutenant's saying, and right now I just finished running some of the reports for a report I had to do. So like, yeah, Evil gets consistently gets more calls, and that is because of the homeless in the area. We are working. We're gonna have another big cleanup next month. And, I'm meeting with some of the service providers for the area. We're supposed to have a meeting all together so we can kind of sit down and try to work together. Because what we're doing, we're kind of just, in my opinion, kind of just going in circles.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the service providers more involved and working together as a unit, so that we can tackle the issue, probably not in a different angle, but just trying to remedy it more than just because police, we're limited to citations, arrests, right? We need to get the service providers to come out and really help us with trying to get them help.
I agree. Sergeant
So
Martinez.
Yeah.
Sergeant Martinez, can you let me know exactly when that's gonna be? And then can we have, I'm requesting right now, I don't know if you have it, but I'm just putting this out there. Health and Harm Reduction, Salvation Army, IHS, and anybody else that could be a service provider that can do outreach and possibly gain some data, some information on these people, and work with John Mizuno's office on homelessness to try to get in contact with these people, next of kin, where are they from, what can we do, what do they need, and maybe work with core at the same time. So I would like to be a part of that because I like doing outreach on the grounds, grassroots. That's me. So please let me know when that's gonna be.
Yeah, all those agencies you just mentioned, they're on my email, and they're all agreeing to come to that meeting.
Fantastic.
So we are trying, because I don't know if you know how it works in that area. Even though IHS is there in Evil A, they don't have the contract. They don't have the contract for the services in that area. It's 3HRC.
Yeah, it's health and harm reduction.
Yeah.
And
So they're all coming to that meeting, and one of the things I'm putting out to them is I want them to kind of give us what problems they're encountering, like what is it that some of the things that are holding them from doing their job, like and then I'm gonna tell them the hardships and the issues that we're having as police in that area. So like I said, the main goal of that meeting is to try to get everybody to work together. What I'm noticing just being in all these meetings and going is a lot of these agencies don't really work together.
Correct.
Is what I'm finding.
Correct.
So my goal is to try to unify everybody and kind of have the same goal in the same area and see if that would work.
That'd be fantastic because you're doing Salvation Army and Vineyard Boulevard. They've been having some rash of break-ins because they have a food pantry over there and they have mental health services. So it's kind of like a hodgepodge. Unfortunately, problem comes their way when it closes down and then people try to self-serve. So they are there, they want to be of assistance, so please, again, keep me in the loop. I can work with them too, because I do have some connections with them also. And I would like to have them be a part of that solution.
Can you just do me a favor and drop me an email with that, just so I can get? I mean, I know I have your emails somewhere in my thousands of emails of archives here, but if you can just send me a quick email at jmartinez, just saying what you just asked, that way I can get it fresh up. And but yeah, that's our goal for that area. We're working hard on trying to maintain the sit lie and things like that within the confines of the court decree that we have to follow and all that stuff. So it's not like we're not trying. It's just we have to find different approaches.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for all your efforts, and I will be emailing you. Any other questions for the?
Amanda, I have a question online.
Sorry, hold on, Candace, one more board member. I'll get to you right after, I promise. Lynn?
Officer Martinez, this is Lynn Vasquez. This might, what do you mean about contract? I mean, I don't want to sound stupid, but when did IHS, it's about the contract, I'm lost about that. Is there a contract that they don't have a contract for the homeless? Who?
No,
Hello?
no. From my understanding is, I guess the city gives out the contracts. So the service provider that has the outreach contract in the Evile area right now is 3HRC.
I don't know. I'm president of the Slipper Foundation. I never heard for 20 years, I never heard that we have to have contract to service the homeless. This is the first time that I heard that we need contracts to service the homeless.
Yeah, I mean, it was news to me too. I was surprised that
That's
how come
silly. That's why we cannot help. That's why this is really crazy. That's why we cannot, it goes in circles. They cannot find a solution to help the homeless. I thank you for what you're doing, Officer Martinez.
I actually reached out to the city, some of the city homeless officials last month.
That's why the director went quit.
I asked the same question. How come we can't get IHS to have the contract for the area that IHS is in?
Yeah, because they've been doing, Connie has been doing it for how many years? She knows what to do.
Yeah, Connie's great. Connie Mitchell. I'm in contact with her.
Yeah, we can't hold HPD accountable to city contracts.
Thank
They got
you.
their own kuleana going on. But thank you so much, Lynn, because that is very insightful and this gets played over and over again. So we're gonna move on. I think Candace had a question for you, Sergeant Martinez. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Yes, Sergeant Martinez and Lieutenant Yamashita, thank you so much. I just wanted to thank you for everything you do because a lot of the calls that you get from the Evile area. I live at 215 North King Street, and it's probably a lot of the calls come from me. I've met a couple of your officers, but I wanted to ask, and because and thank you because the neighborhood board chair Amanda was very helpful with this too. But I want to ask you, how much collaboration do you have with the downtown Chinatown substation, HPD substation? Do they update you? Because I know our area is very uniquely positioned. They explained it that it's like almost like a shoe boot, because apparently Ala Park, downtown Honolulu and Chinatown is under their substation, whereas our building and around our building is considered part of Kalihi, Pālama, which is 2.1 miles away from our building. And how often do you collaborate with and get information from that substation? Because just after we had Amanda had a community meeting, she partnered with our building partnered with 888 Evile last week, and the mayor's office came, John Mizuno's office came, our representatives from the legislature also came, and it was amazing because some of the issues that we were worried about, like Ala Park, the drug dealers hanging out in the bathroom at Ala Park, that has been like in the last day, like the last 2 days, has been immediately rectified by CORE and the city maintenance crews and HPD officers. We saw 4 police cars there yesterday, and apparently they kicked everybody out of the bathroom at the park, and they locked the park. So is that something? But because I'm only bringing this up because our area it crosses over. Apparently, all the homeless, you can't just tell all the homeless, oh, stay around 215 North King Street. They go back and forth between your jurisdiction and downtown Chinatown's jurisdiction. Some of the people I see in Chinatown fondling themselves naked and stuff in front of Lee's Bakery, I also see coming in front of, PetSmart. So how often do you work with that substation? Do you collaborate together?
We're in pretty constant contact with their community policing team.
Mhm.
We work with them pretty well, and we're also been in contact with their bicycle detail. They're the ones that you probably see um, in the parks and whatnot. So
Mhm.
when you have big cleanups, because we have weekly cleanups, right? You guys know that every Monday there's a weekly cleanup in
Yes.
Evil A. So those we don't collaborate so much with the D1 guys, but when we have big ones, like the one that we're planning for next month, then we do collaborate with them because, like you said, all you're gonna do is go into Ala Park,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna come back. I mean, the fact of the matter is, they're in our area because we have so many services in the
Yes.
area, and I don't think the word is unfortunately, but when you have the concentrated area of the services, you're gonna get the concentrated group of people there. Yeah. So
So
that's something I'm bringing.
who is it that we need to talk to, on the government policy side to try to get more budget for, for HPD? Because that's the thing, is that I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job with the staffing that you have and the huge area that you have. But it's just, I mean, if the government is going to be putting so much money into services and shelters for the homeless, they should also give a proportionate amount of money towards the community that they're, placing these services and shelters in to help, invest in the community and protect the community. So, I mean, is
That would
that
be your
something
city
HB?
officials.
Yeah,
Sergeant
okay,
That would be
Martinez,
your
can
city
I
thank
answer
you.
Candace's question? Sergeant Martinez, I'll answer Candace's question.
Yeah.
Candace, you can work with me.
Okay,
I do work,
thank you, Amanda.
try to, I think all the questions you've been asking Sergeant Martinez, even though he could answer that to you, it would be inappropriate.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But I just wanted to
navigate.
say thank you so much because, we really
You're very
appreciate
welcome, because I'm the
HPD.
one that organized
Yeah,
that whole thing.
yes.
So if you need any help, I'm here. Thank you for being here, but those are questions that he can't answer.
Yeah, okay.
I work with
Thank
you
you.
to build legislation, and I do agree, they need to be supported, and our community needs to be supported. We're gonna move on because it's beyond 3 minutes, Candace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then we're moving on to Board of Water Supply.
Hi, good evening. Sorry I can't be there tonight.
No problem.
I report on main breaks and a general announcement. So in your district, there was three main breaks in January. On the 15th, there was one near 502 Dillingham Boulevard. There was another one on the 15th near 909 Ka'amahu Place. And on the 16th of January, there was one near 1824 Kamehameha Highway. So sorry about those three, but and the general announcement is that we have a water waste hotline. So if you see water being wasted, such as a broken pipe, malfunctioning sprinkler, running faucets, excessive watering, or something similar, let us know so we can follow up and stop the unnecessary water loss. So we have three ways to let us know. You can visit our website at boardofwatersupply.com/waterwaste, or you can contact us you can email us at contactus@hbws.org. And then you can also just call us at 808-748-5041. So let's make every drop count and do our part to conserve water, our precious water and limited water supply. So that was my quick general announcement. And I have a follow-up from last month, if I could mention that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
So sorry. Yeah, resident Mr. Song asked a question last month, and so he had asked about some main breaks around Kalihi Street and near the freeway and our pumping station, and if we have plans to fix them. So my response that I was given is, so within those past 3 months, there was 3 water main breaks that occurred around Kalihi Street, near 2821 Nike Street. Sorry, I can't say it. So that one is awaiting permit approvals before the contractor can proceed with permanent paving. That work should begin in about 2 months. There was one near 1308 Hala Drive, and that was in a grassy area that did not pack the roadway. And there was one near 1824 Dillingham Boulevard near Mokaea Street, and that happened in the rail construction zone. And in response to some plans to fix things, so in the North School Street, we have a North School Street water system improvement project scheduled to begin in fiscal year 28 to replace the aging infrastructure. So it's including pipelines in and around Kalihi Street. So when there's more information, we'll share that as it becomes available. So I'm hoping that's okay, an answer for Mr. Sung. And if there's any more questions.
Thank you, Iris. One moment. Question from the board, Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn Cullen here. I got two things. First one, we were supposed to have a speaker on the rate increase and they canceled and never came back. So can you have someone?
Evelyn, I can answer that question. It's in the presentation today for the sewer rate.
Okay.
Next question.
Can I give you my concern about the hotline since you're right here right now? Can it be reported on a state park? Like say Sand Island, the showers have no aerated type of nozzle. The water just free flows out and huge waste. Because a lot of parents there don't monitor their children at the showers and it just goes on and on and on. So I kind of go there and I tell them to turn it off. But if they have some sort of device like some city parks where you have to push the knob for it to work and then it goes off after maybe 30 seconds, that will help. So I don't know how the city is going to approach the state parks on that, but I'm putting it out there right here right now.
Okay, I'll mention that to I'll email my community relations people and let them know. But yeah, it's going to be a little difficult to get them to do infrastructure changes though. It was more of a, if they're broken or something, we can tell them. But I'll mention the suggestion of the on-off button. Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions online? Any questions from the community present? None? Thank you so much, Iris. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. See you next month.
See you next month. Okay, we're gonna move along with Heart. Marissa Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Maribel Cabalan. I'm stepping in for Marissa. I'll be your representative for Orange Herman Jimenez and the rest of the neighborhood board, community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak regarding updates to Heart. So, got a couple, my format is usually big picture and then we drill down to Dillingham related. And then if time allows, I would love to address some of the questions received from January's board meeting. So I'll go real quick on the big picture stuff. So our segment 2, that's the section of guideway stations between Pearl Harbor to Middle Street. That's anticipated to be turned over in late 2025. Department of Transportation Services, they'll be the ones to announce when it's open for passenger service. Right now, what our team at Heart is doing is running testing on the trains, on the stations, just to make sure that everything is spec, span, meets safety regulations, it's reliable, and we can deliver on a reliable transit system. Another big picture thing is, city center guideways and stations construction is coming up in the summer. For now, in the interim, our contractor, our design build contractor, Tudor Perini, they're just doing some minor pre-construction activities within non-zoning closure areas, so no traffic impacts. So far, they're testing soil conditions. Again, they're expected to start their foundation work in the summer, and that's going to be in the EVLA area and progress more towards downtown. So that being said, let's get a little bit more tailored down to Dillingham, and as far as utility relocation goes, still ongoing. Crews are still working to relocate lines underground. This is electrical. They're relocating poles, infrastructure, telecommunications. So expect that to continue until mid-2026. And then they're doing the work in preparation for guideway stations, so then our other contractor will come in and do their guideway station work. So as far as traffic goes, Dillingham still one lane in each direction, no left turns except for Alakawa Street, and then Coho Street by Pālama Canal, still gonna be continued to be closed because there is a micro tunneling pit there. It's a big, I believe it's like 30 by 30, and what they're doing there is they're digging under the Pālama Canal to put a pipe in and run the lines through. So still closed until end of Q1 2025, just because cannot plate over a pit that big, yeah. And then lastly, on the general updates, I don't want to steal any thunder from Councilmember Claudero's representative, but the transit mitigation fund is being administered by City Council. Deadline is this Friday. If you guys know of any business along Dillingham Boulevard that could use the grant, I'll have Patrick Watson actually paste the link on the chat. They have until Friday to apply, and then they'll City Council administers the program, so they'll be in contact to those folks who are able to get the grant. You doing okay on time, Chair? Okay. So responses to questions and comments received from January. So I'm going to prioritize 3, and then because there was about 5.
Sure.
So the first one is unpacking eminent domain and Kamehameha Schools property. So just from the heart perspective, we did request eminent domain on 7 properties. Just want to ensure everybody we're not taking away properties. The ask is basically just between. It's easement rights so that we can build rail. And generally these areas are small, so like 11 feet to about a little over 20 feet. And the reason for that is when we build the rail, the columns is 40 feet up in the air. We just need to keep that area clear for operations and maintenance. And really that's it. Some sections are so small, it's just a column at the very edge of the property. Some sections are just, hey, we need this space to put a transformer pad to power. So yeah, that's it on eminent domain. I acknowledge that in the last meeting, there is this need to have a larger conversation with Kamehameha Schools regarding land use and what. I did reach out. I believe that Hillary Ellinger is there from CAM Schools. She is open to presenting. I know it's been a minute, so she's available here if you guys have any questions for her whatsoever.
I think it deserves a whole lot more attention. So I'm gonna have her do a formal presentation. Hillary, I don't mean to put you on the spot. So sorry. But I think you and I will have ongoing conversations, and moving forward, there will be formal conversations with a presentation, maybe several. So I don't want to put you on the spot to have to answer any questions right now.
Appreciate that.
Proceed.
All right. And then as far as the houses in Campen over at Middle Street, I hear what Sergeant Martinez is saying about the ongoing problems. And as a city agency, we're also restricted on what we can do. So Sergeant Martinez, I am going to reach out to you because I am interested, one, in that cleanup as a private citizen, and also just to hear more about the larger conversation about what is being done in the area, just because rail will be there and we all need to work together to help at least resolve and alleviate for our houseless neighbors and to prevent crime and all that other stuff that comes along with it too, yeah. We already know about H3RC, so I'm not gonna refer, I think we have their contact information. And then lastly, regarding transit-oriented development in the Kalihi area, this is one of those things that fall out of HART's jurisdiction. We're kind of adjacent, right? Because we're building the rail, but it's with an entirely different, it's with a different agency. I did reach out to them via email just to let them know, hey, the Kalihi Pālama Neighborhood Board is interested in more information about that, and I'm waiting to hear back. And that's all my updates. I'm open to any other questions you guys might have, and thank you for the opportunity for a conversation.
Of course, Ken?
Sure. This is more of a comment. So I still get the emails of the things that HART does in terms of what they give. I'm a pedestrian mostly. So one of the things is it seems very pro forma when I see that some of the announcements when it comes to on the pedestrian side. The reason I bring that up is because sidewalk, sometimes it closes, sometimes it's not, and other things like that. I can move, I'm fairly nimble, minus injuries. Older people can't. So just something to kind of consider. I understand usually we talk about traffic, usually it's about the vehicles as most of the conversation is. But if some emphasis can be put on the pedestrian side, I think that would be helpful for the safety of a lot of people here that take public transportation and walk.
Evelyn?
Hi, I guess you were fielding my question from last time about the eminent domain. So I thought it was the entire Dillingham, but thank you for clarifying that with me. It's just little portions of it. And so all 7 properties are KSB properties that you guys are seeking small easements?
I believe so. That's my ask to the subject matter
Okay.
expert.
And then also, I still see only 6 workers like working on Dillingham, but the contract in and of itself is like multi-million dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. I hope these guys go home with 20 million by the time they're done with this contract. The workers, the people who I see doing the grunt work. You know what I mean? Like I believe Non holds this contract.
There's several contractors right now on Dillingham. Actually, we have HMS Construction. They're doing the electrical utility relocations. We have Frank V. Coluccio on the more eastern end, and then of course, yeah, Non Inc. has the lion's share of work. So
Right.
they work between 7 p.m. to 5, and then also during the daytime to.
But any given time of the day, because that's my major route, I only see about 6 men doing all the work. And it's hard for me to fathom all the money that these companies are getting. And then it's hard for me to see how the CEO of Hart is getting this huge paycheck every year at my expense as a taxpayer. And it's just gonna get worse because now the feds are pulling out. Who's gonna make up the rest? It's gonna be me, it's gonna be you, and I'm not a good player when it comes to things like that. I'm just putting it here right now. Okay, so that's me, that's who I am. I court everyday people, and
All right,
That's how it
Maribel,
is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evelyn. For Kalihi Kai and other schools in and around this rail line, this is something that I have been mentioning for decades. And I'm on record from since Joey Monahan's time. Can we please make sure that the cafeterias, the classrooms, for the dust, the debris, the noise that's gonna be happening at night for the residents that are living in and around and very close to the rail line, that they are compensated? Air conditioning in units, especially for the keiki. I don't think it's very healthy if there's any kind of like construction dust, silt
Asbestos.
in the air. That needs to be addressed, and it has not. That's going on for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to repeat myself, but you're already here.
Okay.
So please, for the residents that have to breathe that in, that's not healthy. Let's do right.
I'll take that back to our team regarding compensation and EC units. Just from the contractor end, just know we do run street sweepers. I know sometimes the street sweeper breaks down and we get really hard on their face on that because we know, right, like when it's dusty, it's hard to breathe, people with allergies, so.
Yeah, especially when there's apartments that you guys are gonna be coming down. And I wanna make sure there's people that might have COPD, asthma, bronchitis, elderly, mental health conditions, and those that are children, right? So I wanna make sure that the community is taken care of as you're coming through our community. Okay, so please take that back.
I mean, not only that, because the materials that were used a long time ago have a lot of chemicals in it. Once it's airborne and it's inhaled, we don't know what we're inhaling. It's gonna cause a lot of health problems down the road. So there wasn't much regulation going on back then, but I can foretell there's gonna be a lot of people with health conditions due to all of this, especially in the urban core.
So please mitigate that in advance, as much as you can.
Friable
Because this is going back for
material.
10 years.
Get the
I
state
had that conversation in
quality
Joy
control.
Mama in that cafeteria.
The air quality
So I wanna make
pollution
sure that's
guys.
addressed, Maribel, if you can, please, that's important. And then we're gonna move along. Is there anybody online that has any questions? Thank you. 7:44, we're gonna move on. Board business, filling a vacancy, if there's anybody that is interested in becoming a board member. There's someone in the back, so. Should we take a, is there anybody?
Oh, you got a question for Hart?
Oh, he has a question for Hart? Oh, okay, sorry.
In regards to the easements.
Sorry, can you speak a little louder, please?
In regards to the
Can-
easement for Hawaiian.
Oh, sorry.
Can you
Wait,
please come
you,
to, because it gets recorded?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry, you're soft-spoken, thank you so much, but if you can speak loud enough that it can record your first and last name, that's, yeah, whichever seat, but it needs to be able to record your first and last name.
My name is Thomas. I'm asking, I had called Hart and they didn't call me back in regards to the current easement that Hawaiian Electric has that is gonna interfere with the rail along, I guess on Pālama Canal. So, I guess the whole area. The problem, I guess, basically is Hawaiian Electric is in financial trouble. They're not sure what they're gonna do. I'm someone who's a Hawaiian Electric stockholder. They haven't told us anything, so we're up in the air like anybody else, and nobody knows what's happening because they're looking at maybe 300 million. I'm not sure if that's what it's gonna cost to move it. And
Thomas, is there the question that you want to pose to Maribel?
yeah, nobody can tell me one way or another is Hawaiian Electric will be, it's gonna come out of their pocket first to move it and you're gonna be reimbursed by Hart? Or is Hart gonna initially pay them to move the high power lines?
Gotcha. Let me get back to you on that one. I'm sure it's a shared cost. I just need to figure out how can I get your contact information?
Yes.
Write it down then.
Okay, any other questions from the community for Hart? Anybody online? Hearing none, we're gonna move past the vacancy. I believe nobody was raising their hands, so we're gonna move past that. Or is there one? Is there someone? We're gonna take a 5-minute break. Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break. Yeah, but then we'll come to the front of that. The board is back in session. And I'd like to have Randy has stepped forward as being our new board member, and he wants to introduce himself.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Randy Dedeling. I live at 215 North King Street. I'm actually on the board of the condo association there. I wanted to get on the board. I know there's a number of vacancies, so I felt like it was an opportunity to step up and try and be more involved in my community and give back with the time I had outside of work. I'm very interested in housing, developments, climate issues, so this all seems like a good opportunity to become more aware of what's going on with the city and state there and be able to represent the community to try and move those issues forward.
Can you share briefly of your activities at 215 North King Street?
Our activities?
The community meeting that we currently had not too long ago?
Sure, yeah. Was it Thursday?
Yes.
Last Thursday we had a meeting. I was really impressed with the organization actually. There's the flyers in our lobby. They had state senators, city council, state reps, representatives from the nonprofit that's running the Kalihi and Iwalei, as well as IHS and the state homeless coordinator.
Correct.
All in attendance in the panel, as well as Chairwoman Yvonne is there.
Chairwoman Yvonne has organized it.
Organized it, yeah. It was a good, productive conversation. For 215 North King Street, specifically we're concerned. We've had our fence line has been damaged. Like previously, homeless encampments along our fence line, they would have fires in the tents and they wouldn't melt our fence. So it's still damaged to this day because we haven't cost us tens of thousands of dollars to replace it. So those are the kind of issues we've been dealing with. There's also weird jurisdictional issues all around our building. Like there's a hard property on one side, and then there's a road behind our building that the longest time they were saying that the HPD would come and they'd say, let's say you have to call the sheriff. Obviously, the sheriff's not going to come out for that.
Right.
But Hart actually took over that road as part of construction, and since they have, there hasn't been an issue with homeless there. So thanks, Hart.
Very good. Is there anybody that wants to nominate Brandon?
I'll nominate, yes.
Second?
Second.
Perfect. Any opposed?
Welcome. Have a seat.
I like the one you say.
I'm sorry, Evelyn.
Oh,
We're not done with the process.
Oh.
We have to do a vote all around. Yeah. So who you want to start with?
I can start with Colin.
yes.
Sorry, Daga?
Yes.
Sorry, okay. Farm,
Aye.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Irwin, absent, Pintor,
Pintor, aye.
Pojano, Ulima,
She's
Aye.
online.
thank you. Serna,
Aye.
Ibanez.
Ibanez.
Aye.
Okay, 8 ayes, 0 no, 0 abstentions.
Welcome to the board.
Can I say something? Chair, Chair, there's also for the neighborhood board, he has till Friday.
Yes, he's
He
been
knows.
briefed on that.
Ready for
Thank
the
you.
spice.
Yeah, he's been briefed. And then we're gonna move along to approval of minutes, Wednesday, January 15, 2025. Anybody wanna move?
I make a motion that we accept this.
Second. Motion passed. C, motion to support Bill SB 1632 and companion Bill HB 1492, workforce affordable housing in Hawaii.
Motion.
Any second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No? Motion passed. D, motion to support resolution 25-03 CD1, reaffirming the city policy that landfills should not be located above drinking water sources. The resolution strongly opposes any landfill located near drinking water sources and reaffirms that the council's commitment to protecting Honolulu's vital water resources for generations.
So moved.
Move. Second? Donna?
Second.
Motion passed. Next, E, motion to support Bill 19, 2024, FD1, CD2, establishing a resident preference for city affordable housing programs. This establishes a resident preference where in Hawaii, residents are given preference for all city housing programs that are, 1, funded by Honolulu taxpayers' dollars, 2, developed by the city, or 3, purchased and managed by the city. To qualify, housing applicants must be a full-time resident of the city, who, number 1, is registered to vote in the state of Hawaii, and 2, spends at least 200 days in the state. Anybody move?
Move.
Second.
Motion passed. F, motion to support resolution 25-25, requesting the city administration to submit the updated 2025 local hazard mitigation plan to the city council. The council is requesting that the city administration of Honolulu to submit the updated 2025 local hazard mitigation plan to the city council as required by federal law for eligibility to receive federal project grant funds. Federal regulations mandate that the city's hazard mitigation plan be reviewed and updated every 5 years with a current date due of February 2025, which is this month. Anybody to move?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion passes. Okay, next is presentations limited to a maximum of 10 minutes. There may be some leeway here, and so the sewer rate increase, Director Roger Babcock of Department of Environmental Services, he gave everybody some information. You can have a seat, and then for the record, state your first and last name, you can have a seat.
Okay. Right here is good place?
Yes.
Okay, so good evening, Chair, Ibanez, and board members. My name is Roger Babcock. I'm Director of the Department of Environmental Services for the city. We take care of all the wastewater and all the refuse for everybody in the city. And so I'm here to talk about our proposed sewer fee increase that we have before council right now. And so I'll try to keep it short. There is a handout, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that folks have about it. the sewer enterprise is an enterprise fund. So what that means is it's like the water service by Board of Water Supply, E&P supplies, provides the sewer service. It's an enterprise service, which means it's fee-based only. So your property taxes do not go towards sewer, and they do not go towards water. They fund everything else in the city, police and fire and all the parks and everything else that the city does is paid for by property tax. So property taxes are not used for sewer, and sewer funds can only be used for sewer. Can't be used for any other city function. Just like Board of Water Supply, their funds collected for water are not used for any other city function. So what that means is that for both water and for sewer, the fees need to provide all of the funds necessary for the operation. So when operation requirements and funds increase, then the sewer fees and the water supply fees need to be increased in concert with that. And water water supply fees went up recently. They have a 5-year package, and we've had 2 fee increases already, and there are 3 more to come associated with that. And you do receive your water and sewer bills together on one bill. This is what my bill looks like. The Board of Water Supply is on the left, and Environmental Services on the right. And the Environmental Services part, the wastewater part, the sewer part, is about twice as much as the water part. The last, well, let me just tell you what we do. So on the wastewater side, what we do is, it takes about 800 people to run the sewer system. And we have 2,100 miles of sewer pipes. We have 40,000 manholes that you see in the street. We have 71 wastewater pump stations, and we have 9 wastewater treatment plants, located around the island. And you folks are served by our largest wastewater treatment plant, the Sand Island Wastewater Treatment Plant down at the harbor, in the harbor area near the airport. And that is also the largest wastewater treatment plant in the state. And it is it treats, that treatment plant treats an average of about 60 million gallons of wastewater per day. And all 9 wastewater treatment plants together treat about 100 million gallons of sewage every day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that plant and our other largest plants are manned 24 hours a day. So there are 3 shifts operating those treatment plants. And we also have people on call all day, every day, to service the sewer system. So if there's ever a leak or something like that, you call us and we show up. So we need to, it's a heavily regulated industry by the US EPA and the State Department of Health. So we have permits for all of our facilities, and we have to report to them, collect data and report to them monthly. And we are subject to inspections and as I mentioned, reporting. And anytime there's any exceedances or violations, we have to address those. And so regulations tend to, all permits are only 5 years in duration, and we always have to renew our permits, and the permits always get stricter and require us to do either additional treatment or add additional facilities to our system. In addition, we do have to repair and upgrade and maintain all of our facilities, which is quite costly. And because things do age over time, and we have to keep them updated. But I want to let you know that all of the upgrades and improvements that we do, are always using modern technology. We always are upgrading and trying to make things that will be more cost-effective, more energy efficient, and will last, for future generations. And so we have a construction. We have an operation budget and we have a construction budget, and they are. They're quite large, so it's about $450 million a year in operation requirement, and that's basically what the sewer fees bring in. And there are really 2 main components of that. One are sort of operating funds, which is wages and salaries and other current expenses for like electricity and diesel fuel and chemicals and many other consumables. And the other part is
debt service. So all of our construction projects are funded by sewer bonds. So sewer enterprise, like Board of Water Supply, we issue our own bonds that are different from the general obligation bonds that the city issues for all other construction projects, for all other departments and city facilities. So sewer bonds are separate, they can only be spent on sewer operations. And so that's how we do our construction projects, and that is about half of the sewer fee is being used for debt service. So we issue 30-year bonds, so it's just like a mortgage on your house. We essentially issue bonds, they give us money to do the projects, and we pay it back over 30 years, principal and interest. And we also, like a home mortgage, we do get to refinance. Whenever the interest rates dip, we refinance our part of our debt that's a little higher, and we then save money over the 30 years. But basically, that is sort of justified because these are infrastructure that lasts 30 or more years long. So it doesn't make sense to pay for it in cash because that means everybody's paying for it today, whereas actually you're benefiting, the future generations benefit for 30 years. So everybody pays over the 30-year period for this infrastructure that we do. So anyway, that's kind of how that works. So over time, we do need to generate more funds in order to pay for the debt. So I'll skip to the what we're requesting. What we've requested is a 10-year package of sewer fee increases. So we've laid our cards all out on the table. It requires a big study that generates essentially revenue requirements over, really it's actually out through 2040, but we make the rate package for the next 10 years, which is 2025 through 2034. And we have projected that we need rate increases of 9% per year in the first 6 years, followed by 8, 7, 6, and 5%. And those numbers are in the handout, and they've been in the news and different places, and they're on our webpage with more information. And this flyer is readily available on our webpage, honolulu.gov/ENV. And you can find that, and there are some copies on the back table as well. So those are the rate increases that we need in order to pay for operations, maintenance, and debt service for the next 10 years. The handout talks about some other things, kind of shows what our CIP program is, which is capital improvement program, that's the construction projects. It talks about two other things that I just want to mention briefly, and then happy to move into questions. It talks about how we're changing the fee structure. So in order to improve folks' control over their bill, about how much you pay, and it's kind of an equity issue, is we're changing the fee structure to make it more so that about half of your bill is a base charge and half is a volumetric charge. So your bill does consist of two components, and it is explained on your bill. It shows that you have a fixed charge, a base charge, of $77.55 per month right now. That's what it is. That's what it's been since July 1st of 2016. In addition, there's a volumetric charge, which means based on the volume of water that you buy from Board of Water Supply, 80% of that water will become sewage. That's what we assume. We assume 20% will be used for irrigation. Whether you use that or not, we're assuming 20% is. And then we calculate, say 80%, the rest of that is sewage, and we're going to charge you for that. $4.63 for every 1,000 gallons of water that you use, minus 20%. Okay? And so everybody pays that same volumetric charge and that same base charge. But you can see that of the average bill, and my bill is kind of average, $100 per month, 75% of that, or 77% of that, is the base charge. No control over that. We pay that even if I don't use any water. And only then about 25% or 20% is volumetric. So what that means is that you have not too much control over your bill. Most of your bill is a base charge. It's fixed. So we're changing that to about 50-50 over time. So the base charge is not going to go up for the first 4 years. It's going to stay about $77, but the volumetric charge will increase. so the volumetric portion of your bill will be a bigger portion.
Ronnie, I'm gonna give you a minute more.
Okay, and then, so what that means is that you can, by using less water, you can save more money. Currently, you only save $4.63 by using 1,000 less gallons. Then in the future, you'll save more like $18 by saving, by using 1,000 less gallons. I want to just mention one other quick thing, and that is we're introducing a customer assistance program, which is the first time we've ever had that. And it will allow people to qualify at 80% area median income, household income less than 80% of the area median income, to be eligible for a credit of $20 to $25 per month off of your base charge of your bill. And so for those that qualify, those in the most need, who would be most impacted by the rate increase, this would erase their increase for at least 4 years. It wouldn't go up if you're eligible for that. And so anyway, we're looking forward to instituting that customer assistance program as part of it. And the last thing I mentioned is that the other handouts that's there, and there are a few copies back there, shows actually what actual bills will look like over the 10 years. So you can find on there your water use, 2,000 gallons a month, 4,000, 6, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And that's also on our webpage. And you can see if you use only 2,000 gallons a month, your bill is lower, and your increases, of course, are lower, every month. So, but for the average user, you're going to see $7 or $8 to $10 a month more each year, and so it's a big increase over 10 years, but it is gradual. 10 years is a long time before you'll see this. So it adds up, but it's really you can kind of see for yourself how much it would be. If you're a low water user, it only goes up a couple dollars a month, but it does go up every year. So I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy to answer.
Before we get into
any
the questions, I want to make sure, Brandon, that you're committed to coming back to this board next month and ongoing, as this might be an ongoing conversation.
Of course, yeah, Roger. Yes, I will be happy to come back
Please,
anytime.
please do next
Yeah.
month also. We're going to start with the questions from the board. Any questions from the board? Evelyn?
Hi, so since sewer is gonna increase, can you ask water to decrease? And for this, I wanna really take the wait and see, because our current federal administration seems to be downsizing, and eventually EPA will be one of them, because he's a drill baby drill type of administrator. I will not say okay, then now I'm on the hook to pay something I can't afford to pay. I see a $10 million for low income. What about the middle class, the middle working class? Operations, I will not approve for no raise for the top people in those positions within the sewer city department. Base fix at $77.55, volume assumed. Distance traveled should also be something considered, because I'm less than a mile and a half away from Sand Island treatment, but I pay a huge amount for sewer. And then they also push to put in this low flow type of toilet. That's very problematic with my home. It plugs my sewer where I have to snake it every 3 to 4 months. So putting in low flow type of toilets does not work. And how do you qualify for this 10 million? For low income people, is it a yearly reapplication type of process? Yeah, I'm not really happy. I'm really not happy about this sort of stuff. Like, my wages that I make will not keep up to the amount of money the city and state is asking for us every single year. The 60% is gonna drive me into the ground. I wish I was like a top dog, top pay. I could live nice, but I'm not. I'm an average Kanaka Wahine who lives where her family has been for the last 6 generations. And it's hard, and I just feel like I'm gonna be gentrified out of my community. Okay, so don't do that. I'm not for it. I'm putting it here now, so everybody hears it. Then you guys hear it, and I don't want this to go forward. Thank you. Sorry you have to be the person, but that's how I am.
Randy, I do have a question for you for
So it's
affordability.
Roger.
Sorry, Roger. Sorry. You ran it, thank you for correcting me. So Roger, for the affordability, I just wanna make sure, because there's people that are not present that can't speak, right? So I wanna make sure that future generations, Kapuna, those that have a hard time, those that might be coming down with a sickness, medical condition, get injured, can't work, then all of a sudden they can't pay their bills. When I read this right here, every 6 months, and it's only $25 credit, for the amount of inflation that is occurring and happening to us all here, I just wanna make sure that, I think that number needs to change. So whoever, what powers that may be that you might wanna speak to, I think that needs to fluctuate more towards, for the consumer. And whatever number that needs to be, and I don't know who you need to speak to influence them to think otherwise. People, and I do agree with Evelyn, things are getting more and more out of the reach and unaffordable.
Yeah, some of us only live on social security.
And we don't want people to suffer to not flush their toilets. Or maybe there are other creative ways that if people wanna go off the grid, like for instance, energy has solar, people are a little bit more off the grid. Maybe if people get more inventive and you guys allow them to be as such, like toilets that burn, compost pile, and other such aspects, that is also reflected if people wanna make that choice too later on down the road, let that be for them. But please do come back to our board, as there's gonna be a lot of conversations about this as it gets aired over and over. So thank you so much if you can take that back. Any other questions from the board? Ken?
Let him go first. I'll take
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's kind of to see the single family residential, as somebody lives in a condo. Our building kind of pays a bill and the maintenance fees. So if somebody were to live in a condo or an apartment, would they be able to access this low income program?
Yeah, good question. And so there was a lot of other questions too. And I'm happy to answer those if I can get them, get them one at a time. So multifamily, so there are two categories of fee payers. There's residential and non-residential. So non-residential is commercial and business and everything else, hotels and restaurants and everything else that's not a residence. But in residential, there's single family and multifamily. So the rates I've shown are the single family residential, detached homes. Multifamily residential pays a slightly lower fixed rate per unit. Instead of that, it's 69% of that. It is so it's $55.35, I believe, per month. The volumetric charge is the same. So if you live in a multifamily unit, let's just say there's 75 units in there, and there's one water meter going to it, right? So everything's based on the water. So with one water meter, then there's going to be one sewer bill. So there's one water bill and there's one sewer bill. Not everybody's getting one, right? And so if there's 75 units, then it's going to be 75 times the base charge plus the however much water use there was times the volumetric rate. And so that's being billed to the association or the association manager, and the same opportunities exist for everybody else to if you were to conserve water, then you would pay less. And so similarly, if you were to use some sort of a waterless toilet, it could be a composting toilet or a burning toilet, then you would use less water, and so your bill would go down accordingly. About 25% of interior water use is with toilets. 75% is everything else, washing machines and showers and sinks and all that kind of stuff. So folks can conserve water, and then they can save money on both their water bill and their sewer bill. The water bill doesn't have a constant volumetric rate. It has an inclining block rate structure, so that using more water costs you more. So that is also to penalize overuse or to incentivize conservation. In this way, by making the fixed rate smaller portion of the bill, we're also would be incentivizing conservation. So conserving water saves the association and therefore all the maintenance fee payers money.
And the low income assistance?
Oh, yeah, so low-income assistance would only be eligible, for single-family residential. Because there isn't any way to do that unless we can measure household income and compare it to area median income.
I mean, that's doable for a tenant in a part building, it's just a matter of, they don't get into individual bill.
Right.
They can prove the bill income, they just can't receive specific credit of the bill. It's frustrating that the city is planning to subsidize people in single family homes. When I was in the large number of low-income people live in apartments or more income.
Yeah, so right now, we haven't figured out a way to do that, but we'll be trying to look into it. The same thing is true with renters. If there was it would be based on the owner, whoever's getting the bill is the one who would be, presumably would be eligible. And whether or not they pass that on to the renter, we would have no control over that. But if the owner qualifies, they're gonna get the credit. And so, that's kind of, sort of the practical issue.
Or we structured assistance program.
We're gonna move on to the next question.
Yeah, so real quick, so you have your regular geo bonds, your municipal bonds outside of what you guys do. Is there something that you're constrained on that, because you're saying that's what you need from your guys' side, you guys are issuing your own geo bonds or municipal from
Sewer bonds.
Sewer bonds. What makes those different from the other type of geo bonds that the county gives out, or municipal bonds rather?
Well, it's just part of the statute. So because it's an enterprise fund, it has its own income, and that income can't be used for anything else. And so therefore, it has to have its own debt that's separate. And so the sewer enterprise is only responsible for the debt on the sewer funds, and it's completely separated from the city's debt obligations for the general obligation bonds. And so the credit ratings are separate, the solvency is separate, the coverage limits and requirements and legal, everything associated with it is all separate.
All right, thank you.
One more quick question. So what happens if people look at things down the line and then decide to go with the septic system? Septic costs maybe $30,000. I'll be able to pay that off in 8 years. What then is the city planning on doing if I decide to go septic?
Well, so so septic on-site systems are regulated by the State Department of Health, and the state rule is that if a sewer is available, you're not eligible to have an on-site system, so you can't go off of the sewer. And so that's basically a public health determination by the State Department of Health. So folks that are on an on-site system now can stay on that unless sewers are brought to their neighborhood by us or a developer. Then you're required to connect, and that's.
But the compost toilet actually does help, correct?
What's that?
Compost toilet.
Compost toilet, yeah, but again, that wouldn't, you'd still have to have sewer connection for all the other water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't.
Maybe our state officials that's listening can probably help somebody like me who's probably looking down the line to save some money because I can't afford putting my money down the drain.
Roger,
Thank you.
I don't expect you to give the answer right here and now.
Okay.
I'm looking for ongoing conversations. So maybe next time or somewhere on the path of next time, in the months that you will be coming back here, if you can have presentations, because a lot of people are audio visual, and it helps to have that on a graph online, as people online can also click on it and then understand it a little bit more. So if the next meeting and the meeting after that, if you can compile information as add-on, but please do come back to the board and expand on the questions that everybody had, because I'm sure many more people are gonna have more questions as this gets aired. So I am looking forward to you coming back to the next board meeting with all the questions, and we have a question in the back for you. And that'll be the final question for the night for you. Okay, 2 more questions and then we're gonna move on.
You weren't at the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board meeting, right? That wasn't you.
I have been to more than 20 board meetings, but not.
Well,
every
anyway,
single one.
so whoever showed up to that board meeting, I gave them a proposal for the operational side of the sewer. to save roughly about $60 million a year. Because 40 million of it comes from electricity alone. And then there was, within that proposal for you guys to save, generate another $20 million in revenue. And then there's also additional revenue outside of it, so maybe $100 million total in savings. Not sure if you received that email that I sent to you guys.
Sorry, what was that proposal?
It was about utilizing hydrocarbons.
Hydrocarbons?
Hydrocarbons.
For what?
Using hydrocarbons to generate electricity, to reduce PFAS, as you guys are upgrading the sewer systems. If you have a business card, I'd be more than happy to resend that email.
Sure.
But yeah, it was,
Yeah, I think you guys can talk
$100 million
offline, because you guys
Sure.
can share the information. He's from the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board.
Okay.
So please exchange information, and we do have another question in the room,
Yes.
go ahead.
Thank you, Roger. Real quick question, just understanding the rate fee structure, fixed fee, right? And then volumetric fee, right? And the
Correct.
fixed fee is applied as a blanket to residences, businesses, right? Correct?
Correct.
So,
So
okay,
for
so right
business,
there, right
yeah.
there. Have you guys ever thought of like applying like different fixed fees? So a fixed fee to a residence is one rate, and a fixed fee to a business might be considerably higher to minimize the fixed fees that you apply to the residential users?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So, yeah, so the way the non-residential works is, it's a multiplier of the fixed fee. So basically for a business, let's say it's a restaurant, and so we get flow data from Board of Water Supply, usually 2 years of data. So, but if it's a brand new place, then we have to use some tables, and this is done by Department of Planning and Permitting, so they know how much a typical restaurant uses. But if we have data, 2 years of data, we look at their water use, and let's say it averages out to 100,000 gallons a month. What we do is we take that and we divide it by 9,000, which is called the average water use, and we figure out how many equivalent single-family dwellings it equals. And so that would be about 100, let's say, just making up numbers. So we say then that business is equal to 100 single-family homes, and they're charged 100 times the base rate of $77.55, plus the volumetric charge. So everybody, residential, non-residential, is charged on exactly the same basis. So they're either a single family or a certain number of equivalent single family units. So everybody, they do pay their fair share, and it is equivalent.
Well, potentially maybe like it shouldn't be equivalent. Maybe, to save the burden on the residents, maybe they should pay a little bit more. It's the last comment.
Right, yeah, so that's basically kind of up to council. So it's in ordinance, the way the fee structure is done. So right now, residential customers and multifamily residential customers do not supplement businesses, and vice versa. So businesses do not supplement residential customers. So basically the proportions are kept equal. So because if you want to raise fees more on businesses, they're going to complain that they're paying for residents, and vice versa. So that's the way the fee structure has been set up. It presumably could be different. It would probably be challenged in court because basically you're paying for a service, and so you're supposed to pay for the service that you receive, your portion of that service, as opposed to sort of making an imbalance and saying businesses are going to pay 5 times as much as residents. It would be very difficult to do something like that.
Thank you so much, Roger. I believe that there will be ongoing conversations and where people will be more interested in having more questions that we probably didn't think of tonight. So please do come back and share your contact information with Ms. Epa here. So people online can also contact you, and those that are watching at home later on will be able to contact you if they have any questions also.
Yeah, so contact information is readily available on our website, as well as all this information and other presentations and stuff. And so again, it's honolulu.gov/ENV. Everything's at honolulu.gov, anything for the city. And then it's easy to search there and find our department and any kind of information.
But
So,
you will be coming back.
including phone numbers.
Right, but you will be coming back next month?
If I'm invited, yes.
Yes, you are.
And I'm available. It depends, there's a lot of board meetings and things to go to, but I'll come if I'm available or somebody else will come.
Perfect, thank you so much for your time.
But it does have to get on my calendar, otherwise it's not gonna happen.
Let's work on that together for the community.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to Rona Mangayam. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Kalihi Pua'a, right, on April 12th, 2025. You wanna give some information about that?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rona Mangayam, the Director of Youth Services of Kalihi Valley Comprehensive Family Services. One of our youth program is the Kalihi Valley Instructional Bike Exchange, or KVIBE. This is a program that uses bike and bike mechanics as bringing in youth as we try to provide them a safe space and build their capacity as young healers and young leaders. One of the big events that they are planning is an annual community bike ride from the, if we call it Kalihi Ahupa ride, because from the mountain going to the ocean. So we will start at deep on the Kalihi Valley and then going down to Kalihi Street. From there, we cross Likelike Highway to Kamehameha Road and we stop at K5. And then from K5, we go to North School Street, going to Puea Cemetery. Then from there, cross North School Street, going to Bishop Museum. And then from Bishop Museum, go back to North School Street and drive to the Mexican restaurant there. There's a Louis Calo Garden inside. That's the next stop. And then from there, we get out, go back, then go to Kalakaua District Park, where we do some about 10 to 15 minute rest. And then from there, Kalakaua District Park, we go to Ma'oleola or Sand Island. That's the end of it. It's about 8.5 miles bike ride. On each stop, the youth, especially at K5, at Puea Cemetery and at Louis Calo Garden, the interns in our program will be sharing their stories. What is it, those issues that matters to them? One reason we choose Puea Cemetery is because of Joseph Kahabay, a victim of racism, and 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were able to reconnect to a great-great-grandnephew. So we're doing a community sessions, education with them, led by this great-great-grandnephew. And so our youth will be speaking also about those issues that matters to them. Big part why we are encouraging them and building them their capacity to speak on those issues that is close to them is, we have to admit it, generally the narrative of youth and Kalihi in general is not very good out there. So by these youth coming and speak to their truth and sharing their stories, they're sharing who they are, a counter narrative to the general, sometimes not so good narrative in the community about the young people of Kalihi and Kalihi in general. So this is a community bike ride. Registration is open, and we have the flyer here. There's a QR code and everything. We're capping the attendance to 125 for safety purposes, and of course based on our capacity. And so we are working on getting a permit from the city and county, and part of that also is for us to come here and present this program and project that we are doing. So thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Rona. Any questions from the board? Any questions online?
How can we sign up to volunteer?
Please email kvibe@kkv.net. Yeah. So.
Are you able to give the flyer to Ms. Eppa here so she can scan it in and it can be available online so those that are at home and those that might be watching this can reach out to you?
Yes.
Future opportunities too.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rona.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What are the ages
for
the children that's doing this?
for coming to the program is you mostly on the middle schoolers to high school. For the Aho who arrive, we have young children, but with their parents. So if the parents are registering and they want to bring their children, then they're allowed to do so.
And is these children from the schools in the area? Are these from the public housing children?
Yes, those who are coming into our program, 95% are coming from Kalihi Valley Homes and Kuhiu Park Terrace.
And how many children are you expecting to come to this? 150?
No, we're capping it to 125.
125?
And then and this is our open not just for youth and children, but for the adult. But for our youth in our program itself, K-Vibe, we have 40 youth registered already, so we're asking them to participate, so we're kind of starting on that.
Building towards it, right?
Yes.
Building. Thank you so much. Any questions online? Please give that again to Ms. Ella, so those that are watching online or would want to be a part of something as you're building towards and organizing the community doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
It happens in different ways, constantly. Getting children involved, especially from public housing, and I come from the original, old Pālama, back in the days. Engaging with the youth is vitally important because they can be anyone and anything they want to be.
Yes.
But the dreams die if there's nobody to guide them towards them. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. Please continue.
Thank you.
And then thank you so much. We're gonna move on to residents and community concerns. Any questions from the community first? Mr. Thomas?
Actually, sorry. Actually, this was a question around here.
For the record, if you can just, again, your first and last name.
Thomas Vick, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
With regards to the sewer, because our infrastructure is so old, especially on the streets that I live, it's 110 years old. When I went and asked the city in regards to if we had any plans to basically it's an idea, they said no. Even if they did a improvement district, it's not a guarantee that it would fix it. I'm kind of stunned that if anybody here redoes their house, whatever it is, they have to get a permit. They have to bring it up to current standards. And it's whether it be structure or plumbing, whatever it is. If the city is allowed to have infrastructure that is 30 years past American Society of Civil Engineers standard. When I asked them that, they said for the most part that they do check on condition of the sewers. But being someone that used to work for a sewer department 60 years ago, 50 years ago, actually, the standards have changed in regards to manhole structure and the pipes are similar. I'm just worried because usually when I went back to look at the original area from the original sewer system was put in, there were 10 houses, basically because of the lots are huge, 20, 30,000 square feet. 10 houses that was using the sewer line. Now you got about 30. And a lot of that is you have now, especially families moving in, you have multiple families. So they have a truck that comes in every so often that they flush them.
Mr. Thomas, I don't mean to cut you off at all, I'm sorry. What is your question?
Question is, how do we get the city to at least follow the guidelines that the federal government requires us and the city and state in regards to infrastructure that we have to follow if the city does not? Or I understand the cost, but they are allowed to leave that structure there and we hook it up a brand new system into a very aged system.
Okay. Is there any city official that wishes to answer online?
Well, that's our sewer system, so I can answer that, I guess.
Please do.
Yeah, so it seems like the question is about existing infrastructure in the right of way in the streets, and some of it is old, and it's definitely, some of it is old. And, but we maintain all of our infrastructure, and we upgrade when things, either proactively, depending on the age, or when things become too difficult to maintain, then we will replace them. And you're right, standards change, of course, over time, and today's standards are very different than they were, many years ago. So when we upgrade, we bring things up to the current standards, but the value, the replacement cost of the whole sewer system is in the tens of billions of dollars, right? So we can't just replace everything, but as we go through and things need to be expanded or repaired, then we would try to bring them up to standards. So yeah, we're always trying to do that.
So who determines whether the system right now as it exists meets the minimum standards in regards to flow amount?
Right, yeah. So the question is about flows and stuff like that. So yeah, we have a computer model. So the entire system is modeled, and we have what's called a level of service, which is called a 5-year level of service, which has a 5-year rainstorm over the whole island. And then the system needs to be able to not spill and get everything to the treatment plants and treat it under those conditions. And so we do have lots of pockets of areas where it doesn't meet the standard, and we have projects on the books for all those to replace everything. There's 105 capital projects on the books right now that are either funded or are slated for work in the next 6 years. We have a 6-year capital program that we publish and City Council approves, and so it includes. But actually, all those upgrades are not in the next 6 years. It takes a lot longer to get to everything. So, but we are aware of all of the things, and there are spills, of course, still happen when there's heavy rains or there's grease clogs or roots get in there. And like you mentioned, we have service crews with trucks that are working every day all across the island at the problematic locations. So, yeah, that's all part of our job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Dale? You can have a seat in for the record if you can, your first and last name and where you're from.
Okay. Okay, my name is Dale Krupa. I live at 888 Evie Road. This is regarding the new Evie Kalihi. Okay, I moved here in 1988. I'm a registered voter. I live next to the Evie Kalihi in the government subsidized 160 unit seniors apartment building located at 888 Evie Road. I have a petition with the signatures of 81 residents of the building. I'm here to represent them. I have a copy of the petition with me. We have concerns about the diesel generator operating at the Kalihi 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is causing us health and quality of life issues. It is emitting dangerous, smelly fumes similar to that of a city bus exhaust pipe, and the loud noise exceeds allowable decibel levels for this zoning 24 hours a day. It is coming into our apartments and outdoor public areas. We are downwind from it. The fumes are also in the Kalihi, which currently only has about 15 residents, but once it's full, it will be a serious health issue for them also. The governor's emergency proclamation on homelessness does not exempt them from environmental issues. The governor's January 28th executive order calls for clean, renewable energy. The generator obviously does not reflect this. On January 14th, I made a formal complaint to the Department of Health Generator Pollution and Noise Division. I corresponded with emails to Joshua Marvitt, Environmental Health Specialist, Washington Department of Health. I'm quoting him
from his emails. He stated the Kalihi complex units are not occupied, and we informed the personnel there that any occupied units should be located at least 30 feet from the generator exhaust discharge location. We recommend that carbon monoxide detectors be installed in the bathrooms and housing units closest to the generator for safety. He also wrote, we informed them that we are available to assist them in finding a long-term solution to decrease or eliminate the use of the generator for the complex. I have printed emails from the Department of Health I can furnish to the proper individuals. I am in favor of homeless getting housed. We are protesting the generator, not the Kalihi. If it was a used car dealership next door running a generator, we would still be complaining. Imagine if the generator was next to an open-air elementary school and 10-year-old kids were listening to this noise and breathing in the fumes. It would have been shut down the very next day. This is the first long-term Kalihi in town, and we are learning a generator in a populated area won't work. We had 2 residents in our building pass away within the last 3 weeks. They had COPD. There are many articles about COPD and diesel fumes greatly complicating their illness. There's also at least 2 other residents with COPD currently in the building in apartments that face the generator. They both signed the petition. This has become a very urgent matter that needs immediate attention. We are told the Kalihi is only for 3 to 5 years. Afterwards, Skyline train construction comes through. We are seniors. Some of us only have 3 to 5 years left. We don't need to spend them inhaling unnecessary, dangerous fumes and excessive noise. On February 13th, 6 days ago, a community meeting was held at the condo at 215 North King Street, across the street from the Kalihi. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss concerns about safety, vandalism, burglaries, and property damage to 215 North King by homeless individuals. The generator fumes and noise were the main topic. It was attended by State Senator Carl Rhodes, John Mizuno, Director of Homeless Services and Solutions, June Yang, State Department of Transportation, Council Member Tyler Dos Santos Tam, Neighborhood Board Chairs Amanda Ibanez and Ernest Caraballo, Connie Mitchell, Director of IHS, Kimo Carvalho, Director of Homemade Hawaii, Wine Electric, the Director of Community Affairs, Kurt Shu, Deputy Manager, Director, City of Honolulu, Krishna Jayaram, Director Designate Department of Community Services, Anton Kruki, and 2 TV stations and civil beat reporter, Stuart Yurt. It was announced at the meeting by Kimo Carvalho, Homemade Director, that a smaller, quieter, and lower emission generator replaced the larger one at 12:30 p.m. February 13th. In my opinion, this is a reasonable short-term alternative until the Kalihi can be connected to Hawaiian Electric. We learned at the meeting from IHS and Homemade Hawaii that the Kalihi is stuck in neutral. They must stop at 17 residents. Full capacity is approximately 50. They cannot check in more residents until they are connected to HECO. Any generator does not have the capacity to power their above-ground septic tank properly. We learned the Kalihi is not connected to HECO, sanitary sewers, or city water services. The cost to operate the Kalihi off the grid are staggering. Water is delivered to drink.
Dale, I don't mean to cut you off. Have you found the solutions that you were at least requesting?
No.
What solution are you requesting?
We're requesting, I want to hear from Hawaiian Electric, installation date, or an alternative like solar power, batteries, move the generator, something like that. But there's no solution yet. No, but
Generator size has been decreased though?
It is decreased, yes.
Is that a positive impact on the residents?
It is, yes.
You're waiting for HECO to contact you, is that?
Right, I have a contact at HECO and also one with Homemade Hawaii.
Okay. Do you have the contact information for Mr. Kimo Carvalho?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Please get in contact with him.
Okay.
we'll continue this later. But thank you so much for your report.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Can I just finish the last, you don't want the last 1.5 minutes? No.
It's already gone over time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Please come back again
Okay.
for more information as you need to get feedback from Nico.
Right, correct.
Okay, so next month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dale. Anybody else in the community? Please state your name for the record.
My name is Reno Abihai, and this is Sean Fitzsimmons. We have a presentation here.
A quick presentation.
We don't have a concern. We were just wanting to remind you that we're here in the community, and we want to offer our folks and make ourselves available to participate in any community events that you guys may have that could use our services as volunteers. So we are Kakako Boxing Club. We are a nonprofit 501(c) organization, Native Hawaiian ran. I myself is the president of this nonprofit. We have a long history. I know the name Kakako Boxing Club, what are we doing in Kalihi? But we wanted to keep the name because it has a really long history. We are the oldest boxing club in the nation.
Nice.
It started in 1932 by a person called Yonoichi Kitagawa for the fishing residents of the fishing villages in Kaka'ako. It was carried on by Masa and George Nakaoka in 1980. If we go to the next slide, they spent 40 years in Igalei, next to the women's shelter in IHS. Masa and George, the two brothers, they had their building, paint shop, and they built the gym upstairs. And they allowed kids from the area. That's where I myself trained there in 1991. They allowed kids from their rights around the Kalihi area to train there for free. It was sort of a private gym and word of mouth, so but there were dozens, if not hundreds of kids that came through there over the years.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. If we go to the next slide, in 2017, there was a person named Coach Stuart Okamura. He began to take over the gym. That's when I came back. I finally found some time in my career to come back and start helping out. He mentored me with his coaching techniques. Sean came through. Sean was a boxer from Hawaii, but he boxed in the Ohio area. Sean began to mentor some folks. We then began to get some other coaches. Now we're up to 5 coaches. So we have a staff of 5 coaches, and unfortunately we lost Coach Stu in 2021, but we're still going strong. If you go to the next slide, and I'm trying to run through this really quick. In 2020, we turned nonprofit. So I'm the president of the nonprofit, Sean's the VP, and our mission is really to provide the underserved and at-risk youth in the area a positive environment to develop confidence, coordination, healthy habits, and life skills through the sport of boxing. If you go to the next slide. Oh, she's controlling it. So with Masa and George getting very old, 88 years old and 86 years old, they sold the building. So Sean and I were left with the decision to make. Do we keep the club going or do we let it just fade? We decided to take a chance and lease a space at 746 Coho Street in the area. So we did. In 2022, we turned that former bar into a gym and a club. We've been there since that day. If we go to the next slide. And ever since then, we grew, and now we have over 100 members in our club. We sponsored 25 folks from the area. 80% of our sponsored members are from Kalihi. 84 of our sponsor members are Pacific Islanders, either Hawaiian, Samoan, Tongan, Micronesian, or Filipino. Our goal is to grow that to 50 or more if possible. We offer keiki classes, women's classes, teen adult fundamentals classes, advanced classes, and competitive training. Keep in mind, all of our classes except for the competitive training are no contact classes. So we have a lot of room for just folks who are interested in fitness and just learning how to gain coordination and boxing skills. But for those who are willing to compete, we have competed in multiple local events. We traveled all over Maui, Big Island, California, New Mexico, Mississippi. We've got a lot of wins to show, and a lot of them we didn't. Are we running out of time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Real quick, lastly, yeah, we do appreciate you guys' time and attention. You know, we really do care about the community. We've fostered deep bonds. What comes to mind is most recently we attended the Farrington graduation. And one of the kids that we've sponsored has been with us for about 5-6 years. He has epilepsy. He's been training boxing. Didn't have any contact or whatever. The discipline through boxing, he told me in private, taught him how to study. And so when we saw him there, he was graduating magna cum laude, and now he's currently in college, right? And this is the impact of boxing. Once you see discipline and how to achieve a goal in one way, you see it in all ways. You see the work and discipline it needs, you need to be successful. You can apply that in any other aspect of life. And that's what we try to teach with our gym. It's not just boxing, it's about being a better person, being a better contributor to our community. And that's why we wanted to present to you guys. And if you guys had any questions or had any events or opportunities for our kids to volunteer to help out, to help you guys, we're more than happy to help. That's why we're here.
And we'd also invite you to come over and visit if you want. We'd love to schedule the time if you guys ever want to come and visit.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I have a quick comment. So I know the original guys, the brothers above the paint shop.
Yeah.
My kids are really involved in what your testament today about boxing and discipline. My kids are really involved in Kal boxing.
Oh yeah.
And so that was their other competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing but good things when kids are involved in like boxing. I mean.
And those are the big
I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
request for you gentlemen to come back to the board and give a full 10-minute presentation. I think the time was a little bit too short, and it's almost 9 o'clock, we need to be out of here by 9:30, we have you intimated to the elected officials. So I would like for you to contact me, so I can give you the proper time frame to represent the challenge community, from which I'm from.
We'll be happy to
10 minutes is a
Yeah.
more ideal
Yeah, I think so.
presentation, you can take your time.
We'd be happy to come back.
Yes.
So please come
Our
back.
pleasure, for sure.
Get in contact with the NCO office and we'll be in contact.
We do.
Thank you so much for serving the community.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Any other community concerns?
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
I can't screen present it, but there's, I gave everyone posters. It's called the Healthy Active Aging Fair. And it is hosted by Project Donna, an organization dedicated to helping the Kapuna and caregivers. We are hosting an aging fair dedicated to, looking at healthy nutrition, how to read labels, doing blood screening tests. We have multiple organizations such as Kalihi Valley, Kalihi Pālama Health Center, Elderly Affairs Division, public health nurses from the Hawaii State, and also the Occupational Therapists Association of Hawaii. It's going to be at Chico and Hongwanji, 1731, I believe, 1731 North School Street, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96819. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're gonna have to run past through this, that's all that we're gonna be able to have for the community concerns, I'm sorry. City elected officials, Mayor Rick Mangiardi's representative, Deputy Director Stephen Courtney. I'm so sorry, Stephen, time is running really short, so if there's just like 1 or 2 things you wanna highlight.
Okay, well, I'll try to make it fast.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for the
I guess
wait.
one thing, just so make sure everybody, again, my name is Stephen Courtney, Mayor's Rep and Deputy Director for the Department of Information Technology.
Thank you.
And just have a couple of things to highlight. If those that do want to get to the mayor's newsletter for issues, please go to honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. And one other item to bring up in regards to registration for the 2025 Nickel voting elections. That ends this Friday, February 21st. Voting begins April 25th, and voting ends on May 16th. And then I just have four departmental issues to bring up from the previous meeting. Member Cullen brought up about 311 app concerns in regards to not being responded in regards to the abandoned vehicles. And she also made a suggestion about installing cameras on Kalihi Street. In regards to the response, yes, the city does note that we do have some hiring issues, and so we are trying to increase the hiring so that they can respond to those issues in a more responsive manner. And also the Honolulu 311 app is being updated as well. And so we're hoping that will also, it'll have a lot more functionality, as well as on the back end in regards to making it easier for the departments to respond as well, because the current application they're using is a lot complicated, and we do notice that the departments are responding as they should. So that's going to happen this year in 2025. Let's see, then Member Cullen brought up about an issue with phone call made to the prosecuting attorney's office, and in that respect, we do need some more information. That's the Department of Information Technology in regards to the number you called from, as well as the number you called and the time frame. And I have the numbers, but I just need confirmation on those numbers, and we'll look back into our logs in regards to getting an answer to that. Let's see. Then for the next two issues, unfortunately, I don't have a response just yet. There was Member Cullen also brought up the homeless concerns on Kalihi Street, and I'm waiting to hear back from the Department of Community Services in that regards. And then Chair Ibanez, she brought up an issue back in October 2024 in regards to the encampment on Kalihi Street near Maui Cave Shopping Center. So in that respect, again, I'm waiting for the Department of Community Service to get a response back to that.
I believe that encampment that was in the canal, the gentleman passed away. So that has been cleaned up already. So that fortunately and unfortunately no longer is an issue.
Anyway, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Any questions from the board?
No. Real quick request. Also looking at encampments right now, we're starting to see more on King Street, especially in front of the churches that are over there, impeding the sidewalk and the bus stop that's over there, right in front of Kalihi, Pālama Health Center, on the corner there.
Okay. Well, I guess there's one. Do you have the number for core to use?
Yeah, I did the 3. I just, by the way, the app is. I just did update on the app. I'm just saying, just for that's something you know.
But also
on camera.
Okay. But in regards to the homeless, because also use the number for CORE, and that's the CORE, Community Outreach Response and Engagement, and that number is 808-768-2673. So if you do see a homeless person, as a matter of fact, I did use the number today because there was homeless persons out in the street, and I'm walking to work, and I can see this person probably needs some help, and so they will go out there and do a wellness check on that person.
This group had lines of shopping carts with a propane tank.
Okay.
All right.
I use a 311 app. Thank you.
Okay.
So 808-768-2673, correct? Just to close it off, because we need to move forward already. I'm sorry, time is up really short tonight, unfortunately. I'm sorry, everyone.
I'll email.
Yeah, please email if anybody needs to have correspondence. And just, I really do want to be invited to that. When all the service providers are going out and doing outreach, I would like to be invited to that.
Okay.
Okay, and please let that be also given to the NCO to invite all board members that wish to be a part of that too, I'm sure.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Stephen. I'm sorry for the waiting. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, Councilmember Rainey Cordero or representative.
My name is Mary Marie. Okay, perfect. My name is Sherry Maymiro. I'm Councilmember Cordero's representative this evening, and I will keep it really, really short. I am sending in a link in the chat, and we've submitted our February newsletter for the board. Taking a look at page one, it has three summaries for community concerns, including Monolulu Dog Park fence, Reshiman Water Fountain at Kalihi Lagoon, and illegal dumping on Kilikau Street. Page 2 and 3, you'll see a summary of legislative updates on bills and resolutions moving through the City Council. And at page 4, there's information about the city's transit construction mitigation fund for businesses affected by the Honolulu Rail construction. And the deadline is Friday at 10 a.m., as Representative mentioned earlier this evening. Ending the report of community events, and you can find more information on Rona's Kalihi Valley Kalihi Ahupua'a ride that she had just shared about in the presentation. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to take back any questions.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Questions from the community? Anybody online? Hearing none, thank you so much. We're gonna move along to Tyler Dos Santos Tam or his representative.
Aloha Chair, aloha board members. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna be super quick. I just wanted to follow up with Board Member Farm about the King Street encampments. Believe it or not, we work really closely with the police and with the churches over there, and every Monday that area is cleared. Every Monday morning, and by sunset they're back. So our office is in the process of scheduling our second community stakeholder meeting to see how we can do a better job over there. Unfortunately, some of this might be related to the services that the churches are offering. So we're just going to look at some best practices, as it's pretty unsafe. And anyhow, I promise you that we're working on it, and we'll have an update on that meeting. I put a link to the council members' newsletters into the chat, and just to update that the mayor signed Bill 52 into law yesterday. That's the measure that works to enhance the by safely regulating the possession and use of e-bikes. And it includes helmet requirements, prohibits riders from performing wheelies and other tricks that lift a wheel off the ground. This bill is a part of a broader effort to promote responsible e-bike use and to improve safety on our streets and in our neighborhoods. There's also an article I just wanted to highlight that we are still working diligently on eradicating illegal game rooms. As many in the community know, these establishments are not just about gambling. They attract criminal activity, including drug trafficking, prostitution, and illegal firearms. So we recognize the impact on neighborhoods, and Councilmember Dos Santos Tam is committed to finding meaningful solutions to help stop the spread of the game rooms. For the record, if anyone suspects that you have a game room in your community, you can report that to HPD Narco Vice at 808-723-3933. And lastly, I just wanted to let you know about a Kalihi appliance trade-up program that we found out about today. Just so you know, Chair, you have that information, you have the flyer, so you can share it with your board. I sent it over today. The gist of it is that if you live in the 96817 or 96819, you're eligible to, if you have an old, inefficient, but yet working fridge, you can trade it in and choose a new fridge for $250 is the gist of it, just to save on time. But I do want anyone that would be interested in this program, there is an application process, but the Susanna Wesley Community Center is helping out with this program. You have until the end of March to participate in the program. So the Susanna Wesley Community Center is asking that you either call 808-847-1535, or you can sign up at hawaiieenergy.com/Kalihi. And that concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions back to the council member.
For the board, because of the time frame that we're under right now in the crunch, they can contact you directly. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please do.
To save on the time, thank you so much. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next month.
Great. Aloha.
Aloha. Now to the state elected officials, we're gonna run through this for Carl Rhodes or representative.
Aloha, everyone. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm Senator Rhodes's legislative aide, and I'll be relaying his messages. The new COVID vaccine has been approved for use. Flu shots are also available, as the flu is particularly widespread this year. Yes, there are 2 active sites of little fire ants that were detected near the Oahu Country Club back in May and June of last year, and you can now test for these little fire ants for free by going to www.stoptheant.org, and you can request an ant identification collection kit. You can also call or click the statewide pest hotline at 643pest.org. And these, if your at-home fire ant test kit comes back as positive, the Oahu Invasive Species Committee will conduct a survey of your property with no cost to you. And yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our office at 808-586-6130. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your report. We're gonna move along.
Thank you.
Okay, and then for Senator Donna Mercado Kim or representative.
Hello, my name is Crystal. I'm the representative for Senator Donna Mercado Kim. The Senator Kim's community report has been sent digitally to chair and board members. Happy to report 2 weeks ago, Governor Green released $160,000 in funds to Lena Puna Elementary School for better communication systems to improve school safety. Senator Kim remains committed to supporting District 14 schools by securing critical funds for essential improvements. In addition to this, thank you to those who have filled out Senator Kim's Winter 2025 survey. These were sent out in her most recent community bulletin. If you did not receive a community bulletin, you can fill out the survey using the QR code located on our community report. I will drop a link to this survey as well once I'm done talking. And you can direct any questions to Senator Kim's office. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for the time restraint that we are under at the moment. I think our board members have the contact for you, and if they need to, they can contact you directly. Thank you so much and have a good evening. I'll see you next month. We're going to move on with Senator Glenn Wakai or representative.
Aloha. I know that earlier tonight the board said that they don't want to see a landfill over an aquifer, and I'm happy to report that today the Ways and Means Committee in the Senate passed out a bill to say just that, that there will be no landfill within 1 mile, or half a mile, what I think was a buffer, over an aquifer. So the Senate is with this board in making sure that our water stays pure in perpetuity. Something else that you might be interested in is Lynn from the Senate, Councilman Del Santos' office talked about the game rooms. Unfortunately, so many of them are in Kalihi. I thought I came up with the most brilliant idea for that. It's just, let's bring it out in the open and let's allow for casino gambling, right? If we have casino gambling here, one of the game houses. So the casino bill was floated last week. We kind of rolled the dice on it, and unfortunately came up craps because there were too many people who didn't want to see that. But I really do think that, I mean, this is a way to get to some of the pain points that Kalihi suffers with, the violence that is in the neighborhood because of these game houses. Who would want to go to one of these illicit places if you could go to a casino? We were contemplating putting one in the stadium district as well as the convention center. All the proceeds from the tax revenue at 15% of all wagers was going to be put into education. We would also use a portion of that for gambling addiction type programs. But It's not going to happen this year. We'll go and roll the dice next year. But I think that's a creative way for us to maybe have a discussion on how to get rid of the game houses in Kalihi by just legalizing casino gaming. Thirdly, on a more neighborhood issue, there was a complaint over by Pu'uhala Elementary of the bush getting too thick and homeless people sleeping in the bushes and surprising people who want to catch the bus on Nimitz Highway there. We put in a request for the transportation to cut back those bushes so it's not something so fearful for people when they get surprised by a homeless person as they wait for the bus. So that's my report.
Gosh, thank you so much, Senator Wakai, for all your hard work. And I'm glad we're in alignment that there should be no landfill on any aquifer anywhere near where people will drink water. So thank you so much.
You're
I think
I'll be emailing you.
Yeah. I think because of the crunch of time, thank you so much for your patience and understanding and all your hard work that you do for the people of Hawaii every single day.
My pleasure.
Next month.
Okay, aloha.
Thank you, Senator. Moving along to Daniel Holt, or Representative? None? Shirley Temple, or Representative?
You're muted.
Hello. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize. I'll keep this brief. I'm just here as a representative for Representative Temple. We submitted our newsletter to the members of the board later, and then I guess we just wanted to let you guys know that the session is proceeding smoothly, and then we submitted our CIP with a request for several projects along the community, as well as we submitted a new survey for hopefully to gather what the community have concerns and hopefully gather a better insight and then hopefully address those problems later on. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact our offices. We're happy to answer them anytime. Thank you.
Phone number for the office?
Phone number is just 1 second. It's 808-586-6010.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for the time frame. I'll let you go.
No. Thank you for having us.
Governor Josh Green's representative, Adriana Kalihi.
Aloha. I already put the link to Governor's newsletter in the chat. Just a couple of highlights and some follow-up from last meeting. Last month, there was a question on when Sand Island camping permits are going to be reopened. DLNR just confirmed that camping on Sand Island is going to be closed indefinitely, but no reason was given for the closure. I did follow up with the construction company at Pālama Container Terminal construction site and asked them to pay close attention to their dust mitigation. And if that continues to be an issue, please let me know. The last big update is we've been talking for a couple of months since last year about Young Brothers doing a free pilot program to help alleviate some of the congestion on Nimitz in the morning. So starting on March 17th, we currently have a firm go live date. On Mondays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., we are going to be checking in the trucks going into Young Brothers on Sand Island. And so, Chair, I know that you have expressed interest in participating in the press conference. So as we set the date, reach out to you and make sure that you are included. And as a follow-up and as part of the pilot, looking at central parking restrictions on Auihi Street. So those are the high points. I know we're short on time. And just the last thing I wanted to mention is there was some discussion last month about Mike Lambert's confirmation hearing for his position to lead the Department of Law Enforcement. That confirmation hearing was held today, and he will his position and appointment will be going to the for a vote on and that is my update. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dre, and I welcome Mike Lambert. He's excellent to work with, and he is definitely an asset to the state. I'm gonna let you go. Your internet keeps on cutting in and out, and we're drawing to a close. So thank you so much, Dre, and give the best to the governor's office. Thank you for all that you do.
Can I be included on that thing with the Young Brothers? So once she notifies me, can you notify me? I want to be
I'll
there.
notify the NCO office, and she can notify everybody about what's going on.
I wanna be present, because that really affects my community.
Absolutely, but proper procedure is to give her the information first and then she can disperse it. Thank you so much, Dre. So we're gonna move on to committee reports safely. Evelyn or anybody has any? None? Okay. Education co-chairs Daga Pintor Farm. Any reports? Okay. Health Chair Pintor and Ibanez, I think I worked on 215 North King Street to address the safety and health concerns. So it's actually addressing both those areas, of which Dale gave a full report. Community Resources and Educational Institutions, HFD, details on incidents and mapping, please visit the website. It's right there. Please email the Public Affairs and Media Liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. Announcements, the next Kalihi Pālama Neighborhood Board number 15 meeting is scheduled to be on Wednesday, March 19, 2025 at 7 p.m. Neighborhood Board elections deadline for voter and candidate registration is Friday, February 21st, 2025. Please call the NCO office for any assistance at 808-768-3710, or for more information, please visit the website. The Kalihi Pālama Neighborhood Board number 15 recordings can be seen on Olelo Channel 49 or on the website at the following times: first Monday of each month at 9 p.m. and second and fourth Thursday of each month at 11 a.m. Meeting adjourned.